Albert.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yeah, sure, I can hear you.
All right. Once again, thank you. I guess from that, Zipia shared a better chunk of my part that I could share. She has already shed some lights on us on what we could do as maybe you are a cloud administrator at your place, you're an IT admin, and the CFO has come to you with that bill at the end of the month telling you that maybe your cloud bill is past the budget. So what should you do? To me, I'm trying to think coming to cloud can take 4 ways, can take 4 stages. And cost optimization for these 4 stages are very key. And that starts from designing. From the point of designing, that was very key. At the point of deployment, at the point of monitoring, and at the point of optimization. Since you've already moved to cloud, so we assume that you're at the point of monitoring and optimization. So you as a cloud admin or an IT admin, what will you do? To me, I can attribute this one to around 3 factors that you can do as a cloud admin. One, the cloud tools are there. These cloud tools are really great place that you can go. They really offer you a good place to see on how you will work around that billing. The next thing that I'm going to cover in just in a few words, I can call it eliminate cloud waste. Another thing that you can do is eliminating cloud waste. And the last thing that you can do is you taking advantage of what cloud has offered you. First, on going on the tools, a couple of the tools have been shared, and maybe sharing from the Azure perspective of it. I will go. The first thing that I'll go at is the cost management. At the cost management, this will give me an analysis of how my various resources are being billed, or the amount of the money that the resources have consumed in that particular month, and it also give me a forecast of what my resources are. An estimate of the amount of the resources, the amount of money that the resources will take, maybe in a given 1 month or a given particular amount of time. Going there, it will I will see which of the resources are the one which are attributing to these high costs. I'll be able to also to see what are some of the resources that maybe they are accruing to high bill but are not of that importance to the company. And the last thing that I'll get from the cost management, I'll also get the cost analysis. This depending on the region where people are deploying my resources. And I can also get an analysis based on the tagging that I use while deploying these resources. So after getting this view, I already have the view, the general view of the billing. What's next? The other place that I will go, my next destination will be the Azure Advisor. Allow me to speak from the point of Azure Advisor, because the Azure Advisor will give me actionable recommendations that I can do about my costs. It will tell me maybe you are running VM 24/7. What about you have changed your mind because you're not accessing your virtual machine all throughout? You can decide you go to with spot instance. You can decide to maybe go with auto shutdown at a particular time when you're not using these resources. After advisor, so I'll come to eliminate cloud waste. When I talk about eliminating cloud waste, I'm talking about this from the insight that I got from the Azure Advisor. I'm now coming to implement these insights. For instance, I mentioned there are some of the resources that were running, yet they were maybe my applications or my workloads at the cloud are not fully utilizing those resources. You had set up a dev test environment, but at this particular time, I no longer need this dev test environment. So what should you do? You as a cloud admin or an IT admin in this place, you'll have to shut those instances. You have to get rid of these extra resources. And also, when I talk about eliminating these cloud waste, I'm talking about, okay, at first, while deploying these resources, I'm bearing in mind that I catered for reliability. Maybe I set auto-scaling group in place, but depending on the performance of the performance of the previous month, is this auto-scaling really meeting my needs? Because at the end of the day, I need to achieve a balance between cost and business efficiency, because most of the businesses are out there to at least to see they at least have a return in investments. So if my auto-scaling group it was there, but yet my application of the workloads is not using the capability of this auto-scaling group, I may have a change in mind. Maybe I reduce the number of instances to scale to maybe to a bit a slower one. And the last thing that I will do in this place that it will really help the chief finance officer and the company CEOs, it will be on using the advantages that the cloud gives me. For instance, you can have the things like hybrid benefits. Maybe there's that point where I can bring my own license to cloud. There was a license that I was using on-prem. There's high chances that I can bring this license to cloud. So I will have to take advantage of such thing, bringing this license to cloud so that I cut down on costs. And the last thing that I can mention is on the reservation. And this is something that ZP has mentioned, and maybe to say one word about it. When we talk about reservation, you have gone to cloud and you speculate to use cloud in the next maybe a couple of years. Why not going for reserved instances? So I will advise the company, since we're using cloud and we speculate to use the cloud for a given period of time, we can opt to go for reserved instances. And above all these things, let us not forget the things like budget, setting budgets, alerts, and policy in a way that we can put their policy. You as an admin, maybe you say, we only allow people in this company to deploy resources in this particular region. Why? Because this particular region, the services are cost effective, and therefore I believe that most people or the people in my company should adhere to this rule. So you going there by policy will really help you. And the last of the thing is tagging. Tagging will come in a way that at least you'll able to see who are these people who are deploying these resources that are maybe past your budget. We have, when you give tag, maybe depending on departments, depending on the functionality or the workloads, you'll be able to stream down to a particular resource and a particular person who did that, and you see if they have the right permission, or maybe you can limit their permission in how they can deploy resources. And I believe by taking advantage of the things that I've said, the company will still believe in maintaining their workloads to cloud a bit to see some changes before they can have a second thought. Back to you, Sam.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Albert, for that. I just a question. You mentioned four areas that you need to be keen on cost. You said designing, deployment, monitoring, and the fourth one was
Optimize when you come to optimization.
oh, so it's you look at the cost at the time of designing, at the time of deployment, at the time of monitoring, and also at the actual optimization.
Yeah. When you look at that spectrum, at least you ensure that at every stage this cost optimization mindset is put in place. And at the end of the day, you'll see that at least you're able to have visibility on your costs.
Thank you. I think that really covers it well, because looking at the 4 spheres, it's basically everything that all activities that you will be doing in the cloud fall in those lines. You are either designing, you're either deploying that service, you're either monitoring that service, or now you're looking at how you can optimize that service. So even as you optimize it, I think it's really key to look at how does it affect the cost. You can be optimizing and giving away. There has to be trade-offs, I believe. So you can be optimizing that service maybe for performance, but the other trade-off is now the cost. You might have to incur that cost. So thanks, Albert, for sharing that, and I love the way that you've also highlighted that as much as in the cloud you can use auto-scaling. Auto-scaling has to be really planned well so that it can serve you right. Some a company might have a baseline, might define a baseline that does not really save them any dollars. But I think also, and I think it also falls in the designing aspect. As you design, you also design for how that service will auto scale also. So thanks for that. And just all of you have also mentioned the idea of pricing calculators and the two different tools that you can use. I can see Paul had requested a recap on the spot on the spot and reserved instances. Albert, you had mentioned that. Could you kindly?
Okay. Right. Okay. Let me say something about it just in a few minutes. We talking about sport and reserved instances. Sport instance, that's an instance that you're using it, but at the time when maybe another person wants to use it, or we can say the cloud provider can snatch it away from you, but you'll be given a notification maybe in 1 hour time. Maybe your instance will be shut down or something of the sort. The idea of going with a sport instance depends on your workload. Maybe you are having a workload that is not running throughout. You are running your workloads, and your workload can be allowed to be interrupted at particular times. So instead of you having an instance running throughout the day, you can go with the sport instance, whereby if someone else wants to use it, the cloud provider can start the instance away from you, and then you'll be given back at some later time. So by doing so, when you come to cloud, you only pay for what you use, and you will only be charged based on the time you use that instance. And by going with spot instance, it therefore means you'll save some amount of money. Then on the reserve instance, this is like the way you are reserving it. You telling maybe the cloud provider that you want to use this particular instance for this particular amount of time. Probably it's usually 1 or 3 years. You can take an instance in 3 years, and the benefit of this is that it comes with huge discounts. So instead, suppose maybe using a given instance could take you like maybe $1,000 in a year, you can get up to around 57% of discount, and it's really a significant deduction in the amount that we'll have to pay. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, Albert. I think that's well explained. So another thing that I'll just like you, Albert, to address, for example, why is why is we know that it's the cloud, it's a data center that is somewhere, and we are just connecting to it through a network. So why is it that different regions, deploying resources in different regions, costs differently for the same resource? And points out to something that you had also highlighted, that you need to know where you're placing your resources, the region you are deploying your resources.
Okay, thank you. This is majorly attributed to the fact of whether the region has matured or still growing, and also depending on the economies of scale. For instance, if you choose a region like our case, or most of the African people, you choose North Europe or Ireland. When you go, this region is fully matured. It has all the resources that you need, and therefore it enjoys something that called economies of scale, meaning that with large amount of customers, you're able to get huge discounts compared to South Africa, which is the region closest to us, but not highly advisable, because South African region is still growing. It has not yet matured, and you can get some of the services are not there. And since the region has not yet matured, it also means that it has, when you compare in terms of the customer it has with other regions that have matured, the difference is so significant, and therefore the advantage it enjoys from the economy scale, it's a little bit compared to the matured region, and that's tends to make such region to be a bit expensive.